Hey boys and girls, so this is our first book for our homework assignment, and this is going to be a little bit easier for some of you, and then it might be a little bit difficult for some of you. It just depends. I have a wide variety of kiddos doing this homework assignment, but just bear with me. Remember, this is just practice pretty much for me for my college class, so you guys are the ones helping me out. This is the book that we're reading, and it is called All Kinds of Farms. So by telling your parents quickly, you're going to tell them if this is a nonfiction book or fiction, and then you're going to explain why. So go ahead and push pause, and then you're going to tell them if it's nonfiction or fiction, and then tell them why. When you are ready to go on, just push the play button again. Okay, so hopefully that you just got done informing your mom or dad or whoever you're reading with that the book is a nonfiction. And the reason why it is a nonfiction, because when we look at that picture, it is a picture of a real thing. It's not a cartoon type picture, so when looking at it, it looks like somebody took that picture. So that's the biggest clue as to why we know it. So what we have, I'm sorry for the quick pause there. Now we're looking at this picture right here, and it is table of contents, and what we've learned in class is that this is going to tell us where we can find specific things. So what it says underneath right here, when I move my mouse, you're going to see it. It says, what lives on farms? And that is found on page 4. And then what grows on farms? And that is found on page 8. But we're going to read through the whole book, but again, we're just reviewing what the table of contents is, and I'm showing you as I read where your finger should have been. You would see that little yellow circle. If you need to rewind that quickly to review it again, all you have to do on your bottom screen is push that rewind button and do that. That's the fancy thing about this. So what we're gonna do right now is I actually want you guys to push pause, and you are going to read the page right here, page 3, to your mom or whoever you're reading with, or if you're reading by yourself, I just want you to try reading it. First, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said push pause yet, but first I want you to read along with me. It says table of contents. What lives on farms? Page 4. What grows on farms? Page 8. Now push pause, and I want you to read that to yourself, and then when you're ready to go on, push play. Okay, boys and girls, hopefully you didn't have too much trouble with that. I had read it to you a few times when I was showing you how to follow along with the table of contents page. But now what we're going to do is we are going to follow along with me as I read it to you through this the first time. What I want to make sure that you are doing is your strategies that I have taught you. One of the strategies is pointing to each word as you read along with me. And what you're going to notice is me doing a few strategies throughout as I do read it to you. And when I tell you to push pause, you're going to push pause, and you're going to do that strategy that I tell you to do. So again, bear with me, and we are going to start. The first page says, what lives on farms? Cows live on farms. Milk comes from cows. People drink milk. Okay, so I just read that page to you, but what I want you to do now is you're going to reread that page, and I want to make sure with this strategy that you are looking all the way through your words, because what I see in several of these words on this page right here is a lot of words have the letter S on the end of them. And sometimes what I notice when I'm working with you in our little small groups, that we go quickly through our words and we forget to add that S at the end, or we sometimes put S's at the end when they shouldn't be there. So I want you to push pause and make sure when you read these words, you are looking all the way through each word and add an S when you're supposed to, and do not add an S when you're not supposed to. Go ahead and do that now. All right, hopefully we didn't have too much trouble reading those words. So now we are on page 5, so if you're not there yet, go ahead and flip to page 5. That's the next page. And I'm going to just read through this page, and you guys are going to follow along with me with your finger. People make cheese and butter from milk. So one thing that we have been discussing in the classroom is that we label our pictures. Not all the time because we run out of time, but most of the time when we do, we label our pictures. So this sentence was talking about cheese and butter. So up top, as you can see, this picture is cheese and it is labeled cheese, and this picture is butter, labeled butter. What I want you to do now is go ahead and read that next sentence, working on the 2 strategies so far that we have discussed, pointing to each word as you read it and reading all the way through the word. Go ahead and do that now, so push pause, and then when you're ready, you're going to push play again. All right, guys, good job so far. So now we're on page 6, which is the next page. Flip over if you haven't done so. And I'm going to read the page to you, so follow along with me with your finger. Sheep live on farms. Wool comes from sheep. People make clothes from wool. So after reading that little page, we are going to scroll up to the top and look at our little pictures that are labeled. The sheep are up at the top, and then there are mittens, a sweater. Now I want you guys to go ahead and read this page on your own. So you are going to follow the words as you read, one pointing to the word as you read the word, and slowly stretching through those words that you might have trouble with. Go ahead and do that so you know to push pause and push play when you're ready again. All right, guys, so here we are on the next page, and we are going to be reading about chickens is what it looks like. So go ahead and get your finger ready and follow along with me. Chickens live on farms. Eggs come from chickens. People eat eggs for breakfast. And let's scroll up and look at our pictures just like we have been doing. The top is labeled a chicken farm. As you can see, the little chickens running around. And then we look at what the chickens hatch, which are the eggs, and then they can make eggs for breakfast, like the page said. As you read through this page by yourself, I'm just going to go ahead and bring up a new strategy. We've already learned this strategy, but I'm going to say it again so you can review it. This is where you're going to reread. So sometimes we start reading, but then we get stuck on a word, or we read a little too slow. So whenever those two things happen, either we get stuck or we read a little slow, I want you to go back and reread that sentence to where you become more fluent so you can read it quicker. For instance, let's follow along with me and I'll show you an example. Chickens live on farms. So I read through that just fine, but I knew that that was kind of slow, so I'm going to read it again. Chickens live on farms. So that is what you do when you reread. So you guys are going to go ahead and do that. Please go back and check that you are pointing to the words, you are stretching through the words, and that if you are reading slow, you are going to reread it. So you are working on reading fluently or quickly. Go ahead and do that now. Push pause, and then when you're done, push play. All right, so we're flipped to page 8, and as I can see by looking at this page, I see a heading because it is underlined, and that was at the beginning of our book on the table of contents. So it says, what grows on farms? So now I'm going to read and figure out what things grow on farms. Follow along with me. Apples grow on farms. People eat apples. Let's scroll to the top like we always do. Apple orchard. I don't know if you guys have been to an apple orchard, but I have been before with my family, and where we went to the apple orchard, grabbed a big basket, and we got to fill our basket full of apples. So it was a really fun time. If you guys haven't done that, maybe you should mention it to your parents about going there sometime, because it really is fun. What I want you to do is quickly read that to yourself, working on your 3 strategies that I now have told you about. Pointing to the words, stretching through the words, and rereading if you feel like you need to. Go ahead and do that by, sorry guys, that popped up on my screen. It will go away in just a second. Go ahead and do that. So read, push pause, and then push play when you're ready. Okay, here we are on page 9, and I'm going to just go ahead and start reading this to you, so get ready with your finger. Other fruits grow on farms too. People eat fruits. Looking up at the very top and reading down, it says a strawberry plant, which grows in the ground. And then from strawberries, you can eat strawberry jam, which it's showing you a picture of. And then over here there is an orange tree which grows on the trees, and lots of us drink orange juice. And obviously, oranges make orange juice. So go ahead and push pause, do your 3 strategies we've discussed, and push play when you're ready to go to the next page. All right, we're on page 10. Follow along with me. Sugar cane grows on farms. Sugar comes from sugar cane. Sugar makes foods sweet. Looking all the way up at the top, which is labeled candy, and that's lots and lots of sugar that you guys I'm sure love. And then it's showing you a picture of the sugar cane farm. That's what that looks like. And of course, sugar in a bottle. Go ahead and read that page and push pause. When you're done, push play. All right, on the next page, page 11, go ahead and follow along with me. Cotton grows on farms. People use cotton to make clothing. Shirts, pants, and socks are made from cotton. Looking up at the very top, you can see a big old tractor. This is called a combine, and it is showing you the cotton farm. And then we're going to scroll down to look at those bright orange tall socks, which is labeled, and shirts. So what I want you guys to do is the 3 strategies as you are reading. So go ahead and start reading. Make sure you push pause when you are doing that, and then when you're ready to go on to page 12, push play. All right, guys, we made it to the last page, so let's go ahead and read the last page. It says, what did you... I'm sorry, let me reread that because I messed up. It says, what did you use today that came from a farm? So let's go ahead and look at some things that they discussed in this book. We're going to start at the top, and it says fruits, with all the fruits right next to it. Juice, which is the orange juice we learned about. The cotton shirts from the cotton farm. The wool sweaters from the sheep. The butter and cheese from the milk. And then we have the vegetables and the milk. So go ahead and quickly read this last sentence, and you can go ahead and answer that question after you read it to your mom or dad or whoever you're reading with. And again, if you're not reading with anybody, you can just think of ideas yourself. Go ahead and push pause and then push play, and I'm going to give you the last direction for homework. Okay, so after you read that page, this is now going to be your homework assignment. So follow along with me as I read this to you. This is what you're going to do. The first thing says read through the whole book. So since we just read through that book together, now your job is to read through the entire book all by yourself or along with the person who is reading with you. Once you read the whole book, you are going to go back through the book and highlight these 2 words throughout each page. So one of the words is comes, and you're going to highlight that in yellow. And then the other word is from, and you're going to highlight that green. So on each page, or almost on every page, these words are going to be on there, and I want you to highlight them with the correct color. Then, when you are done with that, you are going to get out your piece of paper that was in your baggie, and you are going to write down 2 facts that you learned from your book. If you don't remember, which I hope you do, you can have your book right there in front of you, and you are going to read it again and write down 2 sentences about the facts that you learned from the book. And last but not least, you are going to bring back the bag with the book, piece of paper, and the 2 crayons that were in that baggie to school. And at the bottom it says, you rock, because you do. You guys are my little guinea pigs. And this is the very first assignment that I have created for a video online that you guys are going to be helping me with. Like I said in the beginning, as I said that this was for me. I don't know why I said that. Again, this is my first time doing this, so it could have been just because I wasn't really thinking. Everybody makes mistakes. It is helping you too. I am trying to work, one-on-one with you, and that's what I like about these videos online. It's just me and you. There's no one else. I know you can't see my face, but it's just us. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask me when you get back to class. I love you all. Enjoy doing this assignment. I thank you a million. Have a good night.